Hello, my people. Hi, this is your girl Destiny. I know y'all looking at me like, what do Destiny have on? But this is just portraying the way that our ego is. Our ego is so huge, so big. Like Beyonce said, the ego is so big. Well, my people, we can make our ego so big by giving it so much power and control over our lives. We got to start shedding away the ego. We got to start breaking through the ego's traps and stripping away all the layers that the ego has placed on us. It doesn't fit us, people. It's too big. The ego is too big. Look at that, huge. It swallows us up. That way it swallows us up in so many ways that we are on the losing side of everything. So my people, let's jump into this video message today. And you're going to see me. I'm going to get a little emotional. I'm going to get a little excited. But I'm going to talk this thing as hard as I can. So if you see me reacting in a very high way, that my energy is all stirred up, that means that I'm going deep within myself and I'm pulling everything away from the ego. And I'm stripping the ego of its power. And you notice, my people, that shadow in the background? That's what we're going to talk about today. How the shadow of the ego, it creeps up into our lives and it swallows us alive. So, the title of this video is Living in the Shadow of Your Ego. Just notice the shadow. Everything that you're doing, you have a shadow that goes and mimic you. It copies you. It follows everything that you're doing. It follows right through it. So let's jump into this. Living in the shadow of your ego. That is the title. Now, how well do you know yourself? Look at this. Did you know yourself looking like that? That's huge, people. Do you allow yourself to be dressed, oversized, wearing things that don't fit you? How well do you know yourself? And if you're like most people, you'll probably have a decent idea about your own desires, about your own values, your beliefs, as well as your opinions. My people, you have a personal code that you choose to follow that dictates whether you are being a good person or not. So, if there is any one thing that you can know in this universe, surely, my people, it is who you are. But what if you're wrong? What if you're wrong? That we'll miss the point somewhere. We'll miss the signs, the message that the universe sent. What if you're wrong? What if you don't know who you are? And that's why you run around with the ego dressing you hugely, baggy, and all this. What if you don't know who you are? Let me tell you this. There's a dark side to every human. And that dark side, my people, that is your ego. Look at it. It's too big. It's too wide. It's just too huge. It's just too much. And we need to shed off that ego side of us. My people, let me tell you this. We live in the darkness, we live in the fear, and in the shadow of our ego. Say, God, you see what I'm saying? You get this. Let me tell you what the shadow, which is also known as a shadow aspect or a shadow archetype. And it's either an unconscious aspect of the personality that the conscious ego does not identify in itself or in the entirety of the unconscious. Because everything of which a person is not fully conscious. And that is how the shadow aspect plays out. That's how the shadow architect plays out. And that's how the ego manipulates and controls our whole entire being. But in short, the shadow is the unknown side of us. It stays in the background. It seems to always follow behind us. So let me ask you this question again. What if you're wrong, my people? What if you don't know who you are? What if you're wrong about the analogy, about the conclusion that you came to believe that you are this or that? What if you're wrong? What if much of what you have come to believe about yourself, your morality, and what drives you is all an accurate reflection of who you truly are? Now, let me tell you this. Before you go and just flip out on destiny and launch into, hey, you don't know me like that to talk to me like that. Or you don't know my life destiny. Or, girl, you don't know what I've been through. Just wait a minute. Cool it down. Turn your temperature down, my people. Wait before you turn me off. And just ponder on this for a few seconds. And then honestly answer this question in a calm and polite manner. You do that for me. And the question I'm asking you is, have you ever said or done something really nasty, shitty, something so horrible, mostly on an impulse, that you later regretted? And I admit I have. I've done that many times in my lifetime. We all have, my people. And that's just being real and honest. We all have done things that we regretted later for doing those things. By that moment, we allow our ego to spread itself wide open and be baggy and big and just come in and swallow more of us up. And the ego just kept getting bigger and bigger. So, after the damage, though, was done and the other person involved was hurt, you couldn't bury your shame fast enough, could you? You really felt really terrible about what you done or what you said or how you did it. And then you start asking yourself questions. What did I say? Why did I say that? Why did I have to let that come out my mouth like that? Why did I have to speak into that manner to that person like that? Then you might have asked yourself in frustration all these questions, but you really was upset. But the lack of control, at that time, it had you over yourself. And it betrays the existence of a different person that was lurking beneath your carefully constructed ideal of who you really are. Now, if this person is coming into a focus for you, then congratulations, because you just met your shadow self. See, you are going to meet your shadow self, my people. And the shadow self is a moral problem that challenges the whole ego personality. For no one can become conscious of a shadow without considerable moral effort. So listen to this. To become conscious of it, it involves recognizing the dark aspects of the personality as present, my people, and as well as real. And the act of this is the essential condition for any kind of self-knowledge. So, the shadow is a concept that describes those aspects of the personality that we choose to reject as well as we choose to repress. For one reason or another, people, we all have parts of ourselves that we don't like, or that we don't think that society will accept, or who society will want to like. So what we do, my people, we push those parts down into our unconscious psyches. And we try to bury them and hide them and deny them. But it is this collection of repressed that is referred to, my people, as your shadow self. So, if you're one of those people who generally says, I love me, I love who I am, and if you're just one of those people who generally loves who you are, then you might be wondering whether this is true of you. And you're going like, okay, Destiny, I don't know why you're saying all that, because I love some me. I love who I am. But my people, listen to this. I'm going to say it again. If you're one of those people who generally loves who you are, then you might be wondering whether this is true of you. And I don't reject myself either. That's things you might say. I don't reject myself. You might be thinking, hey, I love me. I love everything about me. So you really think this is absolutely the whole truth. But however, people, the problem is that you're not necessarily aware of those parts of your personality that you reject. It's way over your head. It's so swallowed up. It's so huge. It's so big that the ego has swallowed it all up. So what we do, we distance ourselves psychologically from those behaviors, from those emotions. And we distance ourselves from the thoughts that we find that are dangerous. And rather than confronting those things or confront something that we don't like, or whether confronting that our mind, it pretends that it doesn't exist. We just stay out there all wide and big and stand in the shadow of the ego. So we distance ourselves psychologically from those behaviors and from those emotions and the thoughts that we find very dangerous, people. And rather than confront something that we don't like, then our minds, it just pretends that it does not exist. Aggressive impulses, taboo mental images, shameful experiences, immoral urges, fears, my people. I'm talking about irrational wishes, unacceptable sexual drives, my people. These are only a few examples of shadow aspects. Things that people contain, but they do not admit to themselves that they contain them. So I'm going to help you out today. And we're going to get beyond this ego. Some kind of way we got to strip out of this ego. We got to deflate it. We got to get it back down to a place where it has no more power or control over us. And I'm going to help you. I'm going to give you a few examples of common shadow behaviors. I want you to get your pencil and pad out, my people. You need to hear this. Here are a few examples of common shadow behaviors. Look at this here, viewers. Look at that. You don't need to be swallowed up by your ego and programs. You're trying to strip off. Take that stuff off. Let it go. That's one of the things we've got to start doing, stripping down on people, shedding off those old habits, those old pains, those lies. Share those things off. Strip out of things that no longer fit us. So let me give you these few examples of common shadow behaviors. Number one, a tendency to harshly judge others, especially if that judgment comes on an impulse. And you may have caught yourself doing that once or twice when you point out to a friend how ridiculous someone's outfit looked. So deep down, you would hate to be singled out like this in that kind of way yourself. So doing it to another, it reassures you that you're smart enough not to take the risk as the other person. And number two, pointing out one's own insecurities as flaws in other or in another person. And the internet, my people, is notorious for hosting this. Now you scan any comment section on the internet, my people, you'll find an abundance of trolls calling the author and other making commenters or other commenters out there saying comments saying people are stupid, they're morons, they're idiots, untalented, they are brainwashed, and so on and so on. It's just ridiculous. But ironically, my people, the internet trolls, they are some of the most insecure people of all. Number three, a quick temper with people in insubordinate to positions of power. Now, people are quick to cope or to copy an attitude with people who don't have the power to fight back. Okay, yes, they don't have no power to fight back, so I'm going to copy this attitude, you know? But exercising power over another is the shadow's way of compensating for one's own feelings of helplessness in the face of a greater force. Number four, my people, see, we got to get dressed up. We got to see how you doing. We stripped down. We halfway there now. So we getting that ego out of the way. So let me tell you what number four is. frequently playing the victim of every situation. Rather than admit wrongdoing people, what people do, they go to amazing lengths to paint themselves as the poor. I am the victim, or as the innocent bystander who never has to take responsibility. My people, it's time to take responsibility. It's time to put yourself in the mirror and see your flaws, your errors, your mistakes. It's time to just put that mirror in front of you, and you start addressing yourself up into the self that the creator of the universe has created for you to be. Let me give you number 5. A willingness to step on others to achieve one's own ends. Let me repeat that because I got that twisted. Number 5. A willingness to step on others to achieve one's own ends. And now people, they often they celebrate their own greatness without acknowledging times that they might have cheated others to get to their success. And you can see this happen on the micro level as people, they go for positions, they running through checkout lines trying to get through people and cut each other off in the traffic. We see this all the time on the micro level. But then on the macro level, these are corporations, people. They rig policies in their favor to gain tax cuts at the expense of lowering the lower class people. So we see this all the time. And number 6. Yeah, we're going to get this straight, my people. Get it straight. You hear Destiny talking to you. Okay, you get number 6. Unacknowledged biases and prejudices. Unacknowledge those things because people they form assumptions about others based on their appearance all the time. And in fact, it's a pretty natural and often useful way of noticing signs of a dangerous person. That's a very dangerous thing to do, my people. Look at this. You got to start dressing up yourself, man. I mean, not just from your head all the way down to your toes, my people. You kick off those things that has slided you around like floppy sliding shoes that had gotten you into places where you almost tripped and fell. You got to put on some stepping heels and let people know that you mean business. So my people, listen. However, we can easily take this too far, veering into topic prejudices. But with such social pressure to eradicate prejudices, people always find it easier to pretend. And people all the time pretend, act like everything is okay, everything is cool, and they lie. So it's so easy to pretend that they are not racist, and they pretend that they are not homophobic or xenophobic or even sexist. They rather pretend rather than to do the work that it would take to override these situations and these problems, or to offset particular destructive stereotypes that they may be harboring. So my people, the last one, number 7. And you see, I'm getting ready to go do some hot stepping now. I'm dressing up for the occasion. I done stripped off the ego. The shadow still stand there. We're looking like, what is destined up to the next? But that shadow ego is gonna be disappearing, because now I'm stepping into my power. Number 7 is a messiah complex. Some people, they think they are so enlightened people that they can do no wrong at all. They construe everything they do as an effort to save others, as to help people, to help others, and to see the light, so to speak. That's why they call them the messiah complex, because they want to come in and save the day, save someone from something, some situation. So this is actually an example of spiritual bypassing, yet another manifestation of the shadow self. Now that gotta be looking good right there. You see, the girl is dressed. That's how you gotta get back into your place that the Creator has created for you to be. My people, because we always see flaws, we see our darkness, and we see our shadows in other people. That's why sometimes we run and we're so afraid, because we don't like this person, we don't care about this person, we don't even know this person, because we see our flaws and our darkness, and we see our shadow in others, the things that we don't like. You seeing the shadow within ourselves is extremely difficult. It's very difficult. So it is rarely done, but we're really good at seeing undesirable shadow traits in others. Because what we're seeing ourselves. I'm going to say it again. Truth be told, we reveal in the things that we see in other people that we don't like, because those are things that we don't like about ourselves. We love calling out unsightly qualities in other people. In fact, the entire celebrity gospel industry is built on this fundamental human tendency, people. Seeing in others what we don't admit also lies within what we call the projection, my people. And although our conscious mind are avoiding our own flaws, they still want to deal with them on a deeper level. So we might magnify these flaws in others. And so what we do, we first reject them, and then we project them. And I'm about done, my people. So if you hate a person, you hate something in him or her that is a part of yourself. What isn't a part of ourselves doesn't disturb us. One way that we all experience this is because of the rejection and the projection. And when this is done, my people, we have a hard time admitting that we are wrong. Get beautiful, get authentic, my people, and you get raw. Love who you are. Shed off those old things that no longer serve you, and you take control and power back over yourself. And you get that shadow, the ego, put in its place. Guys, I'm going to see you at the next video. Namaste. I hope you got something from this message. Bye-bye, people.